Hello, and welcome to this video edition of Don't Miss This. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity. Today we're going to visit the exhibit Gertrude Stein and Pablo Picasso, The Invention of Language. The premise of the exhibit is this. Gertrude Stein and Pablo Picasso were both immigrants to Paris who became great friends and each tried to change the way we see the world by inventing a new lens to view it through. Picasso used his paintings and sculptures, and Stein used her novels, poems, and plays. To me, the exhibit used the name Picasso to draw us in, but it was actually about Gertrude Stein's influence and how she changed the world. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. Spanish artist Pablo Picasso moved to Paris in 1902. American writer Gertrude Stein arrived 2 years later. Stein began experimenting with repetitions of words and sounds to get at the essence of their meaning. She said, quote, "Pablo is doing abstract portraits and painting. I am trying to do abstract portraits in my own medium, words." Picasso began condensing shapes and brushstrokes into the essence of his art and called Stein, quote, "the cubist of letters." At the start of the exhibit, we are treated to readings of Stein's work while we wander. Here's a poem. Exact resemblance to exact resemblance. The exact resemblance as exact as a resemblance. Exactly as resembling, exactly resembling. Exactly in resemblance, exactly a resemblance. Exactly and resemblance, for this is so, because. Stein was a strong supporter of Juan Gris, Georges Braque, and Pablo Picasso. This is from Stein's Tender Buttons. A carafe that is a blind glass, a kind in glass and a cousin, a spectacle. A nothing strange, a single hurt color, and an arrangement in a system to pointing. All this and not ordinary, not unordered, and not resembling, the difference is spreading. Also from Tender Buttons. Pain soup, suppose it is a question. Suppose it is butter, real is only excrete, a no sense. These relief paintings made by Picasso from discarded objects like ropes, mops, and nails are the last we see from him. Now, we're all about Stein. Once Stein started making a name for herself in France, she made a similar attempt back home in the U.S. Her American star began to rise with The Autobiography of Alice B. Toklas in 1933, which described in part her friendship with a more famous Picasso, and the U.S. debut of Four Saints in 3 Acts, an opera composed by Virgil Thomson with a libretto by Gertrude Stein. Stein's influence throughout the artistic world grew slowly and steadily until she was finally recognized as a powerful trendsetter by the artists of the second half of the 20th century. Judith Malina, co-founder of New York's experimental The Living Theater Company, said, quote, "Everything in modern theater has been touched by Stein's reorganization of the English language. She freed the theater in every dimension. She simply plowed everything under, and it allowed us to experiment with the new forms, and the seeds she planted have continued to grow." Let's jump now to my favorite part of the exhibit, the contemporary art. First, our robot friend created by Nam June Paik in 1990, titled Gertrude Stein, recognizable in her long skirt, and so named after one of Paik's heroines. Here's another poem by Gertrude Stein, this time from 1934's Portraits and Prayers. Play. Play every day. Play and play away, and then play. The play you played today. The play you play every day. Play it and play it. Adding to the resurgence in Stein's popularity, 4 of her collections were republished between 1966 and 1972 by Something Else Press, stoking interest in mixing and matching techniques and materials, everyday objects and popular culture, and dissecting American consumerism and entertainment. Artist Deborah Cass said that when she first saw Picasso's portrait of Stein, notably missing from this exhibit, she felt hypnotized. Quote, "She was the first female painter I could identify with." Joseph Kosuth took inspiration for his piece, A Sentence in 5 Colors, from 5 Words in a Line by Stein. Is it time for another poem? I agree! This is from Stein's 1935 Lectures in America. When I said a rose, is a rose, is a rose, and then later made that into a ring, I made poetry. Gertrude Stein's work often focused on the question of identity, of who and what it is that makes us who we are. According to the exhibit, She was as interested in who people are collectively, American versus French, for example, as they are personally, examining their daily lives, relationships with others, love and eroticism, homosexuality, gender, and the relationship of the artist to art. Stein has reshaped the artistic field and those who can see themselves in her: female artists, artists of Jewish descent, and homosexuals. This is from The Making of Americans. There are many men and women who have queerness in them. Sometime there will be a history of all the kinds of them. I'll leave you with one final poem by Gertrude Stein from 1937's Everybody's Autobiography. And identity is funny, being yourself is funny, as you are never yourself to yourself except as you remember yourself, and then, of course, you do not believe yourself. Gertrude Stein et Pablo Picasso, L'Invention du Langage will be at the Musée du Luxembourg through January 28, 2024. While you may not get as much Picasso as you'd like, I'd recommend it for Stein alone. Thank you for watching, and happy exploring!